Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the key national institution, and in the previous lecture we had started with the Comptroller and the Auditor General of India. We had discussed several facts and figures, and in this lecture we are going to continue with the same topic and we will have a discussion over other facts and figures. Okay. So I hope that you have revised the previous lecture before you have come for this lecture. As I have told you so many times, it is for your own benefit. If you are not doing this, then it will harm yourself only. Okay. So let's start. So now we are going to start with the independence and the autonomy of CAG. And the CAG stands for 10 seconds you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically, the CAG stands for the Comptroller, and Auditor General. Right? Wrong. Because it is not controller, it is comptroller. Okay? I had told you why we called it the comptroller. However, his work is to control. But why? Because it's belong to the accounts field or the field of finance, and here we do not use the word controller, we use the word of comptroller. Okay, so now if we talk about the independence and autonomy of CAG function as an independent and autonomous body. Why? Because if you remember previous lecture, I had told you the CAG does not comes under any ministry. Okay, and it works independently. Okay, that's why there is no external control could be exercised on CAG. Even he is appointed by the president, appointed the CAG. Okay, so there is no rule of the government and the government bodies to recommend the name so that the government could expect any favor from CAG. Second, removal only possible in the same manner of Supreme Court judge. Okay, and which is not so easy. Why? Because in the previous lecture I had told you it's required a special majority, which means not only the 50% of voting, but at least 2/3 sitting members must be in favor of the resolution. All right, so this is again just the overview of the topic we had discussed in the previous lecture, and it is also related with the independency and the autonomy of the CAG. Even the CAG salary, allowances, and the condition of services are determined by the parliament and are not subject to the executive control. It means that not only the single person or government by itself only could not control the CAG service conditions. Okay, and it could be done by the parliament only. It means that any provision relating with the change of the service condition of CAG must be presented in the parliament. Thereafter, the discussion will be done, voting will be done, and then the change will occur if the resolution passed. And if the resolution failed, there is no need to talk about it. All right. So that's how the service conditions determine. And remember one thing, after appointment, the service conditions couldn't change till tenure expiration. Once a person has been appointed as a CAG by the President of India, then his service condition could not change till that person completes his tenure. And the tenure is for either for 6 years or 65 years of age, whichsoever comes earlier. This is the tenure. Okay. After completion of tenure, then only his service conditions could be changed. Before this, it couldn't be changed. All right. Now, let's have a discussion over the functions and powers of CAG. It is important. Primary function of CAG is to audit and report on the accounts of the union government and the state governments. CAG's audit includes the examination of financial transactions, compliance with laws and regulations, assessment of financial management and economy in government departments and ministries. CAG submits reports to the president or governors or respective states, who in turn place before the parliament or state legislature. CAG also audits accounts of various autonomous bodies and corporations that receive government funds. Okay, now come back. Don't go this fast. So that's why I read them all, because they are just an overview. They are not in a depth which I would like to tell you. Okay, so let's have a discussion. So before this, first you need to understand the government funds. First is the Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. Second is the contingency Fund of India. Okay. And the third is a public account undertaking. So these are the three main funds held by the government of India. Okay. And these same kind of funds also held by the various state governments. But remember, whenever it's come to the state government, it will not represent by the India. Suppose if we're talking about the Uttar Pradesh, just an example. So the Consolidated Fund of Uttar Pradesh will be represented by the Consolidated Fund of Uttar Pradesh, Contingency Fund of Uttar Pradesh, Public Accounts Undertaking of Uttar Pradesh, not like India. Because when it's come to India, then we are talking about the national level. Okay. So these are the funds held by the government of India. Now, what is the significance of these funds? Let's have a discussion over it. First is the Consolidated Fund of India. Consolidated Fund of India. Then basically you can say it is the main bank account of government. Bank account of Government of India. Why? All the expenditures and revenues are drawn and come back to this account. Okay. Whatsoever expenses the government is going to do, whatsoever will be the income flow coming to the government, all these things are managed by the Consolidated Fund of India. That's why it is known as the main bank account of the government of India. All right. Second one is our Contingency Fund of India. Contingency Fund of India. Now, this fund is basically maintained not for regular transactions, but for unforeseen incidents. Okay, that's why it is also known as emergency fund. Known as emergency fund. Okay, so basically the contingency fund of India is some kind of fund which we maintain only for to meet up the unforeseen expenses. Like suppose somewhere the flood occurred, okay, somewhere is a volcano eruption, somewhere is a tsunami hits. So this kind of unforeseen incidents are basically met up by the contingency fund of India. Okay, and that's why it is famously known as the emergency fund, because it is used to meet up the emergency situation occurred before the nation. All right. Third, public account undertakings. Okay. Now, however, this account maintained by the government but the money is belong to the people of India, and the government is liable to pay it back on demand. Okay, so public account undertakings are this kind of accounts in which the money is deposited by the people of India. Okay, and this money does not belong to the government, and the government is responsible to pay back this money to the people whenever they demand. It's like if you invest in the schemes and the funds of the government, this kind of amount is kept in this kind of undertakings. So similar of these kinds of accounts also maintain at the state levels for the people of their respective states. Okay. Now come back to our function. So the first function is audit the consolidated fund, the contingency fund, and public account undertakings of central government. Okay. Second is audit the consolidated fund, contingency fund, and public account undertakings of state governments. All right. Third, audit, trading and manufacturing accounts, profit and loss accounts, and other important financial documents of central government subsidiaries. All right. Fourth, audit, trading and manufacturing accounts, profit and loss, and other important financial documents. Related with subsidiaries of state governments. All right. Thereafter, fifth is audit accounts related with loss prescription. Okay. And in this, there are two types of accounts that are audit. The first type is all bodies and institutions which are financed by revenue or expenditure of central or state government. Second is corporations or organizations which audits are required by the law. Okay. So all the bodies and institutions which are financed by the revenue or the expenditure of the central or state government, they will be audited. And if the corporation or the organization brought under the audit scope of the CAG by the law, they will be audited. Okay. Thereafter, we have the article 150, which is very important. Also, the part of the function is that CAG could give advice to the president about how should be the maintenance of government accounts record done. And you can say how should be the accounts of central and state governments maintained, so that it will be helpful for the CAG to audit its accounts. This power is basically granted by the Article 150 of the Indian Constitution. Alright. Thereafter, basically if we talk about the report submission, okay. So CAG submits his report to whom? CAG submits the reports to President. Okay. And basically he submits 3 reports. First is report on appropriation account. Okay. Second is report on finance account. And the third is report on public undertakings. Okay. And thereafter, the President presents the report before Parliament for discussion. Okay. It is happen with the central government. If this is about the state government, then the report will submit to the governor of concerned state. Alright. Then the governor will look about the report and then he will proceed further. Alright. Thereafter, the role in the financial accountability. The CAG plays a crucial role in ensuring the financial accountability and transparency in the government's financial operation. Why? Because it audits the accounts to brought out the real picture, or you can say picture of ground. Like whatsoever the government is promising in the highlights, he finds out the ground picture to show the financial irregularities, wasteful expenditure, and the financial mismanagement will help us to financial discipline in the administration. Like in the examples we had taken, the government had promised that rupees 100 crores will be the expenditure and we will have a rupees 150 crores income. Okay, so that was a planned expenditure, or you can say that was a planning that we are going to do this thing. But our expenditure was 100 crores, right? But if we earn only rupees 80 crores as a revenue, then who should be responsible? The authority should be responsible to ensure to eliminate the financial irregularities, wasteful expenditure, and the financial mismanagement, by virtue of which we had the loss of 20 crores. And this ground picture only brought up by whom? CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, because he audits the various accounts and funds of the state governments or the central governments. Then only he is able to draw out the picture and present the picture before the people of India. Alright, that's why it is very important from the financial stability point of view. Okay. Now, the role in the Public Accounts Committee. It is very, very important topic. Now, basically, if we talk about this, then it is a parliamentary committee. And we will have a little bit discussion over it in this lecture. Okay. So basically, parliamentary committee, what does it mean? It means that it's belong to the committee formed by the parliament. Okay. Now you will say, is parliament makes a committee? Yes, parliament makes a committee on need. And basically there are 4 types of parliament committees. 4 types of parliament committees. Let's discuss them one by one. First is the financial committee. Okay. Second is the standing committee. Third is the ad hoc committee. And the fourth is the public accounts undertaking, or public undertaking you can say. Alright, okay. Students, there is one mistake from my side. I'm sorry for that. It is the administrative committee. Actually, the public account undertaking is a part of financial committee. So this is the broad term of the committee. Within these, there are so many committees formed by the parliament, but here we have to only deal with the public accounts committee, hence the financial committee. Alright. So remember, public accounts committee is a part of financial committee. Okay. And basically it is required to audit the reports of the CAG in the parliament and the state legislature. But let's have a discussion over the formation of this committee. So basically, this committee was first constituted in the year of 1921. Was first time appointed. Okay. Thereafter, nowadays, it is basically appointed under Rule 308 of Rule of Procedure and Conduct of Parliament Houses. Rule of Procedure and the Conduct of Parliament Houses. So basically, for the first time, it was appointed in the year of 1921. Okay. And now it's appointed from Rule 308 of the Rule of Procedure and Conduct of Parliament Houses. Parliament Account Committee is responsible for scrutinizing the CAG's findings and holding the executive accountable for any financial lapse. Like you can say, CAG audits the government accounts. Okay. But is there any guarantee that there is no mistake done by the CAG? No, no one can guarantee it. So that's why the PACs are constituted to check out that whether the CAG has founded everything correct or not. Okay, that's why this committee is basically appointed under Rule 308 by the Lok Sabha Speaker. Okay, and it is totally comprised of 22 members. Alright, and if we break them, then we will find 15 members are from Lok Sabha, okay, and 7 members are from Rajya Sabha, okay, and then they formed a 22 members committee. And remember, almost no minister becomes a member of the committee. It is highly ensured that no minister should be appointed as a member of committee, because now the committee is going to check out the reports of CAG about the government expenditure. And if the government's minister will be a part of the committee, then there might be some, you can say, corrupt allegations against the committee's report also. That's why they try that no minister should be appointed as a member of committee. All right. Now, if we talk about the work of the committee, then the first is to check out appropriation account and financial account of the government. Okay, it is the first work. Second, if we talk about check their findings and compare it with the findings of CAG on the same. Like, first the CAG will do the check on the appropriation account and the financial account. Then the committee by itself will do a separate check on the appropriation and the financial account of the government, and then will compare their findings with the findings of CAG. That is, everything is right or wrong. All right. Third is that to check validity of expenditure, that the expenditures occurred by the government officials or government authorities are done in the accordance or not. Okay, it means they are valid or not. Fourth, withdrawn of money is according to law or not. Okay, so these are the some works done by the PSA to check out the appropriation account and the financial account of the government, then match it with the findings of the same with the CAG report to ensure the credibility of CAG, to check out the validity of expenditure, whether the expenditure was valid or not, to check out the withdrawal of money must be accordance with the law. If it's not, then the serious actions could be taken out. And the fifth one is that all the reports of CAG, means the appropriation account report, the financial account report, the public account report, are rechecked by the PAC. PAC recheck these reports. Okay, and remember one point: they are only advisory in nature. Okay, they could not take action. Alright, whatever the recommendations and suggestions they are making, it is only for the parliamentary discussion. They could not impose these suggestions and recommendations or the government by themselves. Alright, so this is about the PAC. Let's move forward. The comprehensive audit coverage. The CAG conducts various reports, audits, including the financial audits, performance audits, compliance audits, and special audits. Financial means the expenditure and the revenue. Performance means if they are going up or coming down. Compliance means whatever they are doing is as per the law or not. Special audits are basically granted by the president or the state governor to be checked out. Okay. Now we have a discussion over the composition of CAG. Comptroller and Auditor General. CAG is the head of the institution and holds the highest position in the organization, appointed by the President of India for 6 years or the 65 years, whatever comes earlier. CAG can be removed from office only through the process of impeachment, similar to the removal of judge of the Supreme Court. Alright. Thereafter, we have the Deputy Controller and Auditor General, Deputy CAG, second highest ranking officer in the CAG's office, appointed by the President of India, okay, to assist the CAG in performance of duty. Other officers and staffs comprise several other officers and staff who are responsible for conducting audits and supporting the CAG in the performance of his function. These officers and staffs come from various disciplines including finance, accounting and auditing and administrative services to give the comprehensive auditing coverage. Special audit teams. CAG may also constitute special audit teams as required to conduct specific audits or investigation in complex of high profile cases. And these cases are basically granted to them by the president, by the governor, or to be specified by the parliament. Okay. Thereafter, we have the administrative independence. The CAG and the deputy CAG function independently and autonomously. Okay. It means the CAG is there, deputy CAG is there to assist the CAG, but he can work independently. Okay. So students, this is all about the CAG. We have finished the CAG and also we have finished the theory part of the key national institution. In the next lecture, we will start with the examples and solutions of the key national institution so that we could practice whatever we have learned so far. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.